equipas deram mais problema para vocês ontem e o que vocês vão fazer para melhorar isso?
Ontem, em específico, uma equipe que trabalhou bastante, a gente foi a IHC, e hoje, para resolver esse problema, a gente vai matar eles.
So like for the special team that got them like more trouble was like a IHC, but like so for today, the plan is like to eliminate them early.
Oh wow, jadi tim yang kata Inco Gaming paling ngeribetin di hari pertama kemarin adalah IHC atau IHC. Dan pastinya plan mereka untuk hari ini adalah untuk eliminasi IHC as fast or as soon as possible. Wow.
One thing that we don't talk about enough as well about competing on the main stage is mindset. You guys need to have a clear mind, and so how do you and the rest of your team keep your composure and stay so calm when competing here?
Então, ele disse que a mentalidade durante o jogo é muito importante. O que você e a vossa equipa faz para manter a calma durante os jogos?
A gente respira muito fundo. A gente respira fundo.
So it's just like they breathe in a lot.
Breathing a lot. Oke, jadi untuk stay calm atau tetap tenang, mereka atur nafas sebisa mereka, semaksimal mereka sendiri untuk bisa mendapatkan atau memainkan game lebih efektif lagi setiap harinya. Well done.
Quite a hot topic at the moment as well is what is on everyone's minds as well. Right now in the leaderboard, the top 3 teams are all Brazilian. So is there anything that you would like to say to your companions from Brazil, but also your rivals while you're here competing?
Então, o que estão falando muito agora é que tipo, o top 3 são todos do Brasil. O que você queria falar para as outras 2 equipas do Brasil?
Hoje, o mundo vai conhecer o poder do Brasil.
So he said like today, the world will know like the power of the Brazilian teams.
Today what, sorry?
The world will know like the power of the Brazilian teams.
Oh, oke. Jadi kata IHC hari ini dunia akan mengetahui power atau kekuatan dari tim Brazilian. Wow, luar biasa sekali. Let's go.
Nenebe, thank you so much for joining us in this pre-match interview. We wish you and the rest of your team all the luck that we can give you for the remainder of today and of course tomorrow. And hopefully you can raise that trophy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Donna, we are going to be closing in on our first match today, is that right?
Yes, I'm sure they are ready now, Banks. Jadi, teman-teman semuanya, sebelum kita mulai, kita panasin lagi kali ya, sekali lagi. Kita panasin lagi kali ya. So, Jakarta!
Are you ready? Let's head over to the analyst desk where they can break everything down before we go into our first match.
Jadi langsung aja tanpa basa-basi lagi, kita langsung oper menuju ke analis desk kita untuk bisa break everything down. Jadi host dan juga analis kece kita silahkan.
Thank you so much, Banks and Donna Visca from the stage, and welcome back everybody to PMGC 2022 Grand Finals. My name is Felix, and I will once again be your desk host for the day. Before we get started, let me just tell you, the energy in here is absolutely electrifying. It is completely off the charts, and I'm so hyped to be here. And obviously, I have the honor to introduce you to these 2 beautiful analysts joining me today. One of which is Maxman, one of which is 7 Worlds Game. How are we feeling?
As you said, it's electrifying. So I think that we kind of like absorbed that atmosphere right now, 7. I mean, we had a fantastic day 1 here in the Grand Finals, and if it's just even remotely close today, I'll be hyped, but we know that teams have made changes. Today is going to be even better than what we saw yesterday.
I already reached my step goals, and that was just from me jumping around before before the show started, because the Alter Ego fans were just getting absolutely insane, and I hope that we get to hear those chants. And as you were saying, a lot of teams are going to be adjusting. I can't wait to see who's going to be doing that.
It's so surprising because like they've been screaming for like 40 minutes.
Yes.
I don't know how they still have energy, by the way, but they're still going.
Speaking of energy, something that has a lot of energy as well. I love that transition, by the way. Sorry.
Good job.
Xperia 1 Mark 4. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, Xperia 1 Mark 4 and Xperia Stream, which were co-developed. You can see these 2 products, by the way, right here, which are co-developed in collaboration with professional esports players. Play PUBG Mobile with Xperia Stream's total cooling system and multiple ports for intensive gaming and streaming, in case you want to share your highlights. And also, don't forget to check out Prime Gaming, another sponsor for this beautiful tournament here in Jakarta, Indonesia. So check out Prime Gaming. You will find lots of free content for all your favorite games, sometimes free games itself, and especially interesting to you guys at home playing PUBG Mobile, you will find free PUBG Mobile items at Prime Gaming as well. Make sure to check them out. Last but not least, another very important part of this PMGC 2022 Grand Final journey is PBESI, which is the local esports association in Indonesia. Thank you so much, PBESI, for supporting this tournament as well. Before we get back to analyzing and talking about the games that we saw yesterday, the 6 of them that we've had so far, make sure to check out the PMGC fan favorite vote. It is going on right now. You can see at the bottom of the screen right now as well. You are able to collect tokens in the Erangel map, and you can use them to vote for your favorite team inside the esports center. So make sure to just open your app and get right in there. And now, last but not least, follow us. Follow us in all the socials. It's as easy as that. Make sure to check out YouTube. Make sure to check out Instagram. Make sure to check out Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We're on all of that. And the name across all boards is PUBG Mobile Esports. So make sure to follow our social channels.
If we could, we'll be on MySpace too.
Does that still exist? Well,
Can't do that anymore.
Looking at a quick overview of what we have planned for today. You saw 6 matches yesterday. We'll have 6 matches today, 6 matches tomorrow. And you can quickly check out the total prize pool as well. $1.5 million will be given to the players in the grand finals alone, Max.
Yep, as you know, that's half-day rate for 7. So they're going to be making that.
Calm down, Jason.
Hey, I have to do a callback eventually, right?
Yes.
But of course, 6 more matches going to be happening today. So many opportunities for these teams now that we see on our screen 7 to make these changes and climb up the rankings.
A lot of these teams definitely need to make some changes. I'm going to be looking at Star Wars. I'm going to be looking at Wolves too. Wolves actually made a bit of a change yesterday. You saw them starting to perform well. And I feel like the big one that I do want to see a change from is going to be Alter Ego. I mean, we've been seeing the crowd get hyped. It's actually a lot more packed. There's a lot more energy here on day number 2. And this team performed really well in the last match yesterday.
Well, we'll have to see if the changes are going to be happening here. But of course, looking at the top 4 fraggers of all of day 1 here, a lot of players tied up with that 13-11. Seems like the lucky number for a lot of these players here going into that first day of play. But of course, Sandesh being one of the top fraggers, of course, meaning that he's up there because he also has more damage overall and more knocks, has been able to just perform so well for T2K. That their big second place game, they got how many? 16 eliminations, I believe it was one of our top fragging games of all of that first day, and he was the one to stand out the most. I would love to see them try and replicate that in this day.
100%, and then we go to, I mean, top damage. It has to be Alpha 7 with the way they were able to perform. They did kind of fall off a little bit there in the last 2 matches, but I think they're going to be able to come back in hot today at the start. 1,246 average damage. It's absolutely insane. Inku Gaming as well, but what I'm actually surprised at here is we have IHC, and we heard Inku Gaming talking about them, so I wonder how that dynamic is going to be playing out today. And last but not least, you do have S2G.
Yes, and that is especially surprising to me because S2G was one of the teams that we talked about had the least impact in terms of eliminations inside these games. Still putting out that amount of damage. Is that surprising to you, Max?
The thing is, as you said, right, they got themselves a lot of placement points, but I think that what we did see towards the end is they were trying to step up their aggressive game, right? They were very clearly like, okay, we got a lot of placement points, we need to shift things up. Then they got eliminations and then get placement points. So like, you need to find that middle ground to some extent, but a lot of that damage coming out from S2G was from that second half of the day. If they find that middle ground 7, I'd have to say S2G could be looking amazing in today's 6 matches.
S2G, I mean, I have them as my top 5. I'm hoping that it ends up happening. I feel like they showed the potential yesterday in certain matches that they can get that fragging power, but I mean, I'm just going to be repeating what you just said, which is pretty much they need to find that happy place between placement and also eliminations.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights that we saw from yesterday's game. Starting off with game number 1, an A7's absolute mad push. I believe it was Ravo getting not only 1 but 2, maybe even 3 kills in that quick succession.
Yeah, we didn't have even time to talk about it, but on the top fraggers, like, he had also 13 eliminations. Revo, I mean, this guy just stepped up. He also had so many individual players from just Brazil as a whole, with like Vitaly in particular. They showed up on a singular play and also as a team.
And I'm so glad you brought up Vitaly, because I actually wanted to mention we saw 13 eliminations out of him. And if I'm not mistaken, those 13 eliminations actually came in the first 2 games. After that, he wasn't really able to get any
Vacation.
Yeah, he was like, you know what, let me just lay back, relax. In the first game, he ended up with 7 elims. In the second game, he ended up with 6. So I'm hoping a bit of more of a consistent game out of them. And I mean, you saw Alpha 7. You were talking about it yesterday too, how well they played Sandhawk, that they ended up winning.
And that 2-1-1 split was just something of absolute beauty. But then I think this is the moment right here where we had the entire crowd just go, whoa! Yeah, like they just lit up instantly, where they just cleared that team almost instantly. He's got himself a good clear on Nova later on down the line, but overall, Alpha 7, it was their day almost the entirety of those 6 matches. And the question is now, who can beat them in these matches today?
And I think for me, it's going to be SGG and SGG, going back to what you were saying, if they can find a happy place between those placement points and also the eliminations, they can maybe go up above Influence Cayman. And then you have T2K, I mean, you mentioned it too, 16 eliminations for that team in one game with the second place finish. They definitely showed that potential. You've been mentioning, you can see this, Alpha 7 at the top, 78 points. Inco Gaming, 69, nice. Influence Champions, 54 points. I mean, these teams are doing good, and what I want to see out of SGG Esports and T2K, I hope they get a win today.
You know what? Normally I like to have a little bit of a friendly competition with you, Sevenos, who we're going to be predicting in the top 5. You said Brazil, you said SGG. That's a 4 out of 5 ratio right now. I gotta say, you're on point this season, and we'll see if it's still the case at the end of the day.
To be fair, I only had 2 Brazilian teams. Okay, so I'm actually surprised that it's doing this well. But then if we go towards the bottom right, we saw IHC there, and now we go towards the second page for Angry Man. This was a team that showed a lot of great play yesterday, and they especially started picking up on the second half of the day. And when we talk about picking it up, I mean, we gotta talk about Fireflux Esports.
Fireflux Esports, of course, with that one chicken dinner. The thing is, a lot of their points came out from that one singular chicken dinner. You're looking at their ranking points. You take out 15, they only got 3 more placement points left. We need to see consistency from this team to climb up and hopefully be in that top 5 position at the end of today.
Absolutely. Kind of the same thing could be said about Wolves. They had 2 back-to-back last places in round 2 and round 3, so the inconsistency here really needs to be fixed. Looking at Inco against INF, interesting statistics.
Yeah, interesting statistics. I mean, that average elimination when you're looking at 5 is just something of absolute beauty when you're looking at it. At this level of competition in PUBG Mobile Esports, having a 5 average elimination per game is absolutely mental. The question is, of course, as you mentioned, can they keep it up today? If they do, man, they're looking like they're not going to budge from those top positions.
And what was crazy to me, and I mean, they did have 2 games yesterday when they ended up in 15th place and in 16th place. And as we go to the top Erangel performance here, there's no surprise. I am a little bit surprised to not see Alpha 7 here. It seems like they were performing better in Miramar and obviously in Sandhawk when they ended up getting the win. DRS, we know we've been wanting to talk about that team. That team showed up big time in the first game yesterday, and after that, I just felt like they disappeared.
Yeah, were they playing the next games? I don't remember. A bit brutal. But yeah, that first game was fantastic. We need to see more of the essence of that game in the other ranking, in the other matches. If so, we could see Nepal step up big time. We want to see DRS at the top of the leaderboards eventually.
Yep. Quickly looking at what we're going to see today. You already saw it, but it's going to be the normal rotation that we saw yesterday as well. Starting off with Erangel, Miramar, Sandhawk, and then the same thing except Sandhawk is switched out for Erangel in the end. Exciting games that we have seen yesterday. A storyline with the whole Brazil region coming on clutch in the last games as well.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Did
Tell
you
me
just
about
say?
Oh, that is just
Did you just say Brazil? Listen, I don't get to do this often. I don't get to brag this much because this team, the region usually lets me down a little bit, okay? But they're doing so well that I had to bring out the flag and just showcase it. Soak it in. Vamos Brasil, muito amor.
I think I'll have to give that to Blanky. It was a bit cold. I think you're right.
I'll
you're
give
right.
it to him.
Yeah.
He's screaming already forward. Coming to the teams to watch, and I'm especially interested because you keep saying you're all about Brazil. Do we have a lot of Brazil teams on you? No, not really. It's only A7 now.
Yeah, it's only A7, and that's because they are currently leading. I felt like they definitely dropped off in the last 2 games yesterday. I want to see how they're going to be coming out. And because I have Nova, they usually tend to bounce back in day number 2. In IHC, I haven't because we were talking about this too, and I know that you have them too. They got a win yesterday, and if you remember, they didn't get a win at last chance.
Really, when I saw Zol get himself that 1v1v1 clutch at the end towards those last matches, I was having like callbacks to almost 2 years ago PMGC Grand Finals when he was playing with Zeus. It was so hype. I want to see more of that. But actually, back on to Nova, I think he had a talk with Paraboy, right? About where he was hoping to be at the end of today.
Yeah, so I went up to him. I was like, do you think you're going to... I expect you to be at least top 3. He's like, you know what? Top 5. And then he was like, actually, top 3. So the confidence is there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, it has to be specified. He means that for today. For today, top 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I was completely surprised right there because you said top 5 to 3. Either way, we'll be getting into the first game of day number 2. John Allen and Blanca standing ready at the commentary desk, and we are heading right there.
No messing. We're going right over here. We are going to be taking it in to game number 1 here for PMGC 22 finals in Jakarta. It's been such an electric atmosphere in the auditorium so far today. It has been phenomenal to watch, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little bit chilly. I'm still.
You're right.
Oh.
Oh, the
there
heat
you
coming
go.
off this region, though, right now.
Oh.
It's bringing me heat. It's bringing me warmth. The
Oh,
top three.
oh,
They're
dear.
looking for a little bit more. I'm steaming. I'm steaming right now with this on. I'm happy days. Anyway, let's keep this on for a little while longer. But heading over to the venue right now, checking out the players, checking out the watchers, the audience in tow. Happy days. All in all, this has been a fantastic time. I'm really happy with the way this tournament's turned out so far. We've had a beautiful amount of turnout, just in terms of audience, just in terms of the amount of people that are here cheering. The audience is absolutely electric. And I don't think we could have asked for a better day one with a very surprising turnout with that 1-2-3 over in Brazil.
Excellent performance, not only from the teams, but from the crowd themselves. I think that's a big part of it. Sure, the national team that is here for the region, they might be at the bottom of the tables, but they are at the top of the tables when it comes to that support, which is phenomenal to see.
Yeah, I mean, I did get to actually speak to Denny earlier, the coach from Alter Ego, and what I was telling him was that, like, it kind of looks like this is a team that qualified like through a real bracket to get here.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in that point in time where it looks like they're completely lost, completely broken. I do think that when you see them, they're making the right moves. It's kind of those little things that are off, and I think that's to be expected with this kind of stage, this kind of level. And I think for Alter Ego, just getting out that 16th place would be a massive boost to their confidence today, and I think they can do that if they can continue with this good game sense. They just need to bring up that skill level in terms of the mechanical play, those team fights. And yesterday we saw them take out Nova in that 4v4, which is not easy to say the least. So I think that confidence is really something that is maybe holding them back a little bit, but we've seen it come out now and again, and it works. So maybe you just need to relieve that pressure and relate to what Nenebete was saying in the case of just breathe, keep it calm, keep it cool. It's what you've got to do in the PMGC. With this being a sprint, 3 days only, you have to keep that cool at all times.
Playing path for match number 7 here at the Grand Finals. Goes north to south. Again, we've seen fairly fair playing paths over the course of the entirety of yesterday. We're going to continue that trend today, it seems, to kick things off here for our first Erangel match of the day, the first of 6 matches that we'll be seeing.
Absolutely, John. I think that's something that's been really interesting to watch, and in the case of, like, there's no one that can really go out after these games have concluded on the old Instagrams, on the old socials, and say, look, this team didn't deserve that win. They were gifted it, they had the best position in terms of playing path, in terms of circle. I think everyone's had to really work for their position on the map, and they certainly will have to here. This doesn't really favour anyone at all. It's a difficult circle to play. This could be heading over towards Yasnaya, in which case we have that finish over in the compounded area, which currently Influence Chem isn't very happy about. And this is the first time we're seeing this circle up towards that northeastern side, and with those statistics coming through, showing that Influence Chem is the best team so far on Erangel, despite having one of the lowest damage numbers here out of those top teams. This could be a really, really good chance for them. Inco, though, we know how they do. Already sending their way up towards that northern side of the map, that northeast side, to get a position, to get placement, and go from there.
Just getting those vehicles first on board, and Inco will be moving a little bit further. In Alpha 7, our current leaders with a 9-point lead against Inco will be on that northwestern side and trying to get as much loot as they can. And if you guys are trying to get as much loot as you can at home, make sure you're checking out the 2022 PMGC Special Crate, available until January the 8th.
We know with the way I've been seeing these players in game, I'm very jealous of these outfits at the moment. Probably one of the coolest PMGC skins, in my opinion. So get them while you can. Only available until January 8th. So the time is running out right now. Just one more day. So make sure you can grab them whilst you can. Maybe, I think at this point in time, it is just one more day, depending even on time zones. You got to be quick, guys. You got to be snappy on that store. Pick up those crates and get going. Specifically, for a lot of these teams, they're going to have to be snappy inside this lobby too. With the circle being where it is, a lot of these teams over towards that western side will have to make some moves fairly quickly. I'm looking particularly over towards 4AM, A7, Fireflux, IHC, all clumped up towards North George and South.
Got Fireflux currently making their way down that western coastal side on yellows. It's a great place to pick up some more vehicles. Unfortunately, it's only 2 players at the moment. I imagine they'll grab one, head back up towards Ketch and Lut, which is not a bad idea whatsoever because that's going to give you more time. Even if you only have 2 vehicles, having 2 players in crates gives you a phenomenal amount of loot early on, which means when they do head towards the circle, yes, they'll have to move soon, but at least they'll have some gear to do it with.
Fireflux 2 and 2 on the west coast. We saw Buradam rotating 2 and 2 on the east side, probably going towards Liphovka, which is just on the edge of this first zone. So we'll see a little bit of looting going on there. Inko breaking north with some of their players as well, moving up to that east side of Yasnaya, and Influence Kemen not wasting any time. Sending a player up north. Kayovsky going to mount up towards the top of Stalber Hill, maybe even break as wide as Kameshki.
It's a really interesting meta that Inko is kind of bringing out these days because I no longer think that Inko has this set drop spot anymore. For them, they have generalized position where they'll drop on the map, but that's not their spot entirely per se. It's just a case of this is where they'll begin their journey. A lot of times this is more of a case of dropping on top of vehicles because they instantly send it towards a position where they can start to play out the rest of the game a lot easier for themselves. It does mean that they get quite a lot of trash loot. We saw this towards the end game of the final game yesterday, where IHC did have that absolute blinder of a match. But when you saw Nanabet, he was having that 1 shotgun available, practically nothing else on board.
T2K rolling up on the rotate, and it's 1-for-1 on the trades right now, but IHC are giving them a little bit of hell here. Legend taken down as well. And was this IHC trying to turn it around? A drop shot, not good, and there's a sliver of HP on the inside. Oh, it's all coming apart. Godless bites back after losing a teammate to a knock. Alex is going to be happy to have had him at his side.
T2K certainly feeling Godless right there. No miracle from above to save them from that devilish presence. Seriously good stuff. Very snappy too on the flicks there from Godless. T2K looking for a little bit of revenge from match 6 yesterday and are unable to find it even though they did have the drop. 4 AM. Qingchen maybe looking for a couple of shots, and right now IHC are just a little bit tight at the moment. They're all hunkered up. This could be a recipe for disaster. There is a vehicle on the outside. Qingchen right now starting to move out. 4 AM maybe hoping to get ahead of the pack here. They realize they do need to get further in. They made their sprint nice and early over from north to George. They were ahead of A7. We're still over towards Zaki side.
Influence Kemen at the top of Stalber now. T2K, they lost the majority of their players there, but they still have 1. And they'll be in the hills, on the ridge sides on the west of Stalber. Playing on as far as they can do. 5th place right now, 51 points, so T2K having a pretty solid day 1 overall. Not a great way to start their day 2. Geek Fam, 7th place on the tables, very, very close by as well. From 4th all the way down to, I would say, 9th, there is that sort of clear bracket. Probably 8th, you could probably cut it out at, but it is looking like you have that central pack. If they can catch up to Inko and Alpha 7, fantastic, but there is that little bit of argy-bargy going on. 5 points from 3rd down to 8th.
I think it's a case of a lot of these teams having a great opportunity to actually move their way up on the leaderboard. Inko, again, set themselves up nice and early down towards that eastern side of Yaz on some really nice compounds, highly elevated too, so it's going to give them so much information. Kind of banking on this central spot over towards the eastern side. I think the circle, it could outplay them, right? It could head up towards that northern side, but they're playing the numbers game at this point in time. And for Inko, they can play the numbers game all day long. I think for them, it's really these blast out games that are super beneficial for them. They do taper off sometimes, though we have seen them start off very slow and then ramp up towards the end of the day. It's the only thing that really worries me about Inko. I think A7 has that kind of consistent streak where they get that momentum on board and it's good to go. And I think if we see Alpha 7 have a good game at the start of the day right now, could be very scary for a lot of the rest of the lobby. You're talking about some of these teams down towards the bottom side. I think it's still very malleable, like you said. You know, even down to, goodness me, 11th place, right?
because you're looking at this bracket, which is very, very slim. And just a big game like that could set you upwards towards that top side. So at this point in time, very, very likely that we'll see some big changes today in terms of the leaderboard. We could see some very surprise numbers on the leaderboard as well. Nova being down towards the bottom is a little bit worrisome. However, for Nova, we were just talking to some of their fans, some of the people who have known them for a long time. They do have the chops on them to bring out an insane couple of days, which would send them right towards the top. We've seen them do it before, and it's always terrifying to see Nova get on that streak.
Circle popped on the east side, does keep a little bit of water out on that east coast as well, but does allow teams to make that call, that decision to leave from Stauber, to move past Yasnaya, away from those fields. So a lot of teams can make a lot of decisions, and when a lot of teams are making a lot of decisions, that means a lot of rotates are coming into conflict, and that's exactly what's happening with IHC and Influence Kemen, as well as Buradam and the home ground team. Alter Ego. At the moment, it's going 1-for-1, 2 go down for Alter Ego. And Ponbit now left last standing for the squad. A little bit too far to do too much here, but Buradam are still taking heavy punishment.